A pickup truck pulled over quietly and turned into an anonymous house. A few hours later, it was gone, rolling along as if nothing unusual had happened. Not long after, a man appeared on the surveillance camera, walking slowly back to that house, his deep eyes hiding some mystery. Two days later, he reappeared this time. He loaded the wrapped items into a red pickup truck and drove away. All seemed calm, but it was just the calm before the storm. Because just a few days later, the pickup truck was found abandoned a few kilometers away. It was covered in dust. The door locked inside was only a pile of scattered clothes, a pair of rubber gloves, a shovel, and a cold atmosphere. And most shockingly, Albuquerque Airport security called to report that an abandoned red pickup truck had been found in the parking lot. Yes, that was the car that appeared on the surveillance camera. It smells like that, huh? It smells like no way. Like decomposed or something, know what I mean? When the police opened the car doors, they found 4 dismembered bodies piled high inside, and that was just the beginning of a horrific nightmare that would haunt these police officers for the rest of their lives. It all started on October 12, 2020. Police in Grants, New Mexico, USA received a report from a landlord who discovered suspicious items while cleaning the home of a tenant who had just been evicted. They immediately went to check and opened an investigation. This tenant had not paid rent for months. When the landlord finally cleared out their belongings, they were shocked to discover a dead dog in a box of abuse. The police immediately suspected that this was not just a matter of unpaid rent, but a sign of a cruel and mentally warped person to a terrifying extent. This is simply a bastard, agreed, cruel and evil. For the police, the poor dog's body was just the opening act of a nightmare that followed. A few days later, a series of mysterious disappearances appeared one after another. On the day the dog was found dead, Detective Robert Turney took over the case of Matthew Miller, a 19-year-old boy whose father had reported him missing a week earlier. The police, who were familiar with Matthew because of his drug addiction, initially thought he was just hiding somewhere in a drug-induced stupor, but this time, they realized the situation was much more serious. Yes, you can help me ask around. Hospitals, clinics, rehabilitation centers, prisons, and other districts to check if he is there. Be prepared, prepare for the worst, but don't give up hope for the best, okay? But I'm telling you the truth, I don't, I don't. Eve arrested Matthew many times before, and he's not the kind of guy I want to arrest. Matthew wouldn't be the type to pull a gun on someone, right? Over drugs, no, he's not that type of guy, that's right. Matthew's family said he had gotten into a car with several people, including Jennifer Lennon, a blonde woman he had been in contact with recently. Additionally, Matthew is also often seen with Justin Marta and Justin's girlfriend Leonie Canzada, all 3 of whom are involved in drugs. Following this lead, police soon found Matthew's Chevrolet pickup truck abandoned for days near Justin and Leonie's home. The car was dusty and locked, with clothes, rubber gloves, a shovel, and a few broken phones inside, indicating that Matthew had not abandoned the car of his own accord. Checking nearby security cameras, police found the car had been parked in front of Justin and Leonie's home 3 days before Matthew went missing. Realizing something was wrong, they immediately went to the couple, but only found Leonie at home, and Justin was not there. No, it's just you. Are you sure? Okay, can we go inside? Hey little buddy, your name is Robert. He's gone. Is he gone? Hey man, this is very, very important. We are looking for Matthew Miller. He's been missing for about 2 weeks. When was he last here? Probably a year ago. Maybe a year ago? When I first moved here? When I first moved last January, he hasn't been here since then? When was the last time you saw him? When I first moved here, that's all. A year ago? Do you think Justin would maybe? Yes, probably. When she is not here? I wasn't there at the time, or I wasn't paying attention, or... That's what they said, but he left on the 17th and never came back, and then the 17th. It's been a while, hasn't it? When questioned, Leonie said she heard from the key holder that Justin had left during the night and was now in Arizona. She also claimed that there was no way to contact Justin because he had taken her phone and disappeared. The last Leonie heard from Justin was when he said he was going to buy cocaine and would be back. Suspecting something was amiss, police announced they would be searching the area for clues about Matthew Miller. Have you noticed anything strange going on around here? Anything unusual? Anything? No. Is there anything that looks like blood? Needles? Are there needles or fentanyl or something like that in here? Yes, he used them, but I'm not sure. I'm not too sure about that. Maybe there were those. Despite a thorough search, the police found no signs of foul play in Leonie's home, but Detective Turney sensed something was amiss. During further questioning, Leonie suddenly revealed that Justin had left with a woman named Jennifer to go to Arizona to deal drugs. Following this clue, Turney discovered that Jennifer was the ex-wife of Sean Lennon, who had called the police because she was missing. Police immediately remembered that Sean and Jennifer had lived at 817 Kingsman Avenue, where they had previously found a brutally murdered puppy. At this point, the pieces of the puzzle began to fit together. Police went to Sean and Jennifer's old house to check and obtained extremely important surveillance video in the tape. Matthew was recorded entering Sean's house. But just a few hours later, it was Sean who drove Matthew's pickup out of there. Remarkably, when Sean returned, he was walking and completely alone. From this moment on, Matthew disappeared without a trace. And it didn't stop there. 2 days later, security cameras captured images of a man moving furniture from Sean's house into a red pickup truck and driving away. This series of unusual actions makes Detective Tony convinced that Sean holds some important secret about what happened inside the house. So let's start at the beginning. Jennifer Lennon is missing. Have you ever met Matthew Miller? You know who I'm talking about, right? Has he ever been to your house? Yes, he was there for weeks, and I'm not sure how many days, but definitely over a week. Before the 3rd, was his truck parked at your house? Yes, more than a day overnight? I'm not sure. Have you ever driven that truck? Yes, who has driven that truck? When was the last time you drove it? About a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago? Did you have anything to do with Jennifer and Matthew's disappearance? No. Do you think there's something wrong with them? I know Jennifer's drug of choice is heroin. He's back with a bunch of drugs. You don't look like it. I was in that group for a while. During the first interrogation, Sean appears surprisingly calm, leading Detective Tony to suspect that he may know more than he lets on. And that suspicion quickly grew stronger when the next day, the police received a call from Josie Hall, a close friend of Matthew Mills. Josie said that he had witnessed extremely disturbing things that could be directly related to the series of mysterious disappearances. Matthew's friend Josie Hall told police that he was at Kelly's house the day before when he saw Sean appear and secretly hide a bag in the garage ceiling. The bag contained a gun, identification, and clothing belonging to Sean's wife, Jennifer. Sean then left, saying he was going to see the police. Josie insists that Sean is the one who killed 3 people, including Matthew, even though Sean tries to blame Justin because he claims he had sex with his girlfriend. Josie also added that Jennifer and Matthew disappeared at the same time. When Sean left the house, Kelly found the bag, took out the gun, and gave it to an acquaintance, Danny Lamos. Danny then took the rope from the bag and fled. After Sean returned, he saw that his bag was gone and got angry, smashed his phone, and left. Josie's statements immediately alerted Detective Tanny and Kelly, and Danny quickly became the focus of the investigation because of their close connection to Sean and Jennifer. Was Sean here yesterday? He came in yesterday. How many times? 5 times. What did he do? He came in. He said he had to call the police and say Jennifer was missing. Did Sean hide anything in the house that someone took? No. Did he bring the bag with a gun in it? No, or Jennifer's ID and stuff. I didn't see anything. Did you look in the bag? No, I didn't see anything. Did Danny Lamos come and get the gun afterwards? No. Do you think he did anything to Jennifer or Matthew? I really don't know. He seems like that kind of guy. I think you're lying to me about the bag, the gun, and Jennifer's ID. I don't know anything. Like he asked me, he said, he didn't bring anything here? Yeah, no, I didn't see anything. Did Sean leave stuff in your garage? Yes, he told me when he moved out. I don't know. I didn't ask yesterday. No, I don't think so. Have you checked? No. Kelly was uncooperative, only reluctantly admitting that Sean had left some items in her garage. But when the police checked, they did not find any clues related to the case, causing the investigation to continue to be at a standstill. Detective Turney immediately obtained a search warrant for the entire rental home at 817 Kingman Avenue, where Sean and Jennifer had lived. But the police were a step too late. The house had been renovated, the carpets removed, the walls dismantled, all suspicious traces had disappeared, making the clues almost completely erased. Knowing that he can't wait forever, Detective Turney decides to call Sean back, determined to find out the truth at all costs. Do you know any news? No, I haven't heard anything lately. I haven't. Are you still in town? No, I'm in Albuquerque. Now we have some new developments. I have a bunch of pictures of the vehicles here. I would like you to help me look at them, see if you can help us confirm some information. I'm free tomorrow. Can I come there? I need to send some things to school too. Okay, just make sure the kids are taken care of, and we'll get to work, no problem. Let's go back to Matthew's pickup, so it's starting to back in, and he's the last one driving it. Right. Let's go back to where you parked your car. Where did you go that day? Do you remember the details? Okay, I drove to McDonald's once. I remember it was the last time we used it that day. And I went to Smith's for water and food, and then Walmart. That's it, man. Like no tracking devices on the car? I have kids, and not hiding any dead bodies or anything like that. I mean, I was a medic in the army too. I have 3 kids. During the interrogation, Sean insisted that he was innocent, and that he had been with the children. He said that Justin, Jennifer, and Matthew were at his house the day of the incident. Matthew had a bottle of pills with him, and the group went out together. Before leaving, Matthew left the car in front of Sean's house, saying it was just a temporary stop. Sean drove to buy groceries, and then returned to the same spot, and nothing else happened. When asked about Danny Lamers, Sean immediately blamed him, being a drug addict in the group, and claimed that Danny had taken his gun. So Danny killed them all? I don't know. I spend most of my time What? I spend most of my time with the kids. Any guesses? If I had to guess who killed them, I would say this guy. He said, if I had to get rid of the bodies, I would feed them to the pigs, and that day, he showed me the pig because I was helping him fix up his house. That's funny, Sean. I don't know anything about Matthew. I don't know much about him, asked Danny. If anyone really wanted to move the dead bodies and hide them, I guess it was that guy, the guy who kept saying those weird things. Pigs eat everything except the eyes. I was like, who the hell knows that? Like this guy. I'm pretty scared of dog anyway. I get it. But my kids are afraid of dog. I'm afraid of him and not going to feel ashamed of being afraid of him or anything else. It can be seen that Sean is trying to blame Danny Lamas, saying that he has a bad temper and once threatened to use pigs to dispose of the bodies. However, due to lack of concrete evidence, the police were forced to temporarily end the interrogation, although they still held Sean for 7 days due to the previous wanted warrant. During this time, investigators remembered camera footage that had captured images of a red pickup truck carrying suspicious objects falling from the scene. But the image is too limited to determine whether it is directly related to Sean. Both Sean and Danny now become prime suspects, especially since Sean was seen driving Matthew's car, and Danny disappeared after getting the gun. The case seemed to be at a standstill until Albuquerque Port Airport security personnel reported finding a red Ford pickup truck abandoned in the parking lot. The first big clue opens the door to the truth. It smells like that. What? It smells like something that's not right, like decomposition or something. Know what I mean? Did they finally bring you guys here? We called the police around 130, and they said they didn't want to come. Really? They didn't want to bring anyone here. There was a bad smell coming from the car. It happens sometimes. I don't know if you guys noticed it. I don't know what it was. I can only say I started to think it smelled like a decomposing body, something like that. But I don't know. But I actually smelled something, but I don't know what it was. It also smelled like garbage. Like body odor or something. I know. Well, check the car and anything else that needs checking. When police opened the trunk of the red pickup truck, they were shocked to discover the dismembered bodies of Jennifer, Matthew, and Justin. Jennifer was hit in the head at close range. Justin was also shot and suffered very serious injuries. Matthew had signs of a beating, and even more terrifying, under the passenger seat was the body of Randy Apostolon, the owner of the car. Inside the car, police found both a bloody serrated knife and a handsaw. Evidence suggests that this was a premeditated massacre. At first, police thought the car was abandoned and didn't rush to the scene. It wasn't until they reviewed Albuquerque Airport security cameras that they saw Sean Lennon drive the car into the lot and leave. This confirmed that Sean was the killer, but that wasn't all. A few days later, Sean struck again, this time against Randy Apostolon in New Jersey. The federal police eventually tracked Sean down while he was hiding in St. Louis, Missouri. When arrested, Sean did not resist but calmly confessed, giving a series of horrifying confessions of a cold-blooded murderer. Please be really calm when listening to the following passage. Jennifer passed out from heroin. It wasn't enough to kill her. Then I saw that she was still breathing. She had overdosed. I went into another room to console myself. Repeated a sentence full of emotion. You killed Garrison's child. If I didn't have a reason, a motive, or something to do this, I pointed the gun at her head and pulled the trigger. I heard my son crying, clothes, and saw the pills she had swallowed. Put them in the closet, closed the bedroom door, calmed the kids down, and put them to sleep in another room. I drove out with Jennifer's body. I threw it in the trunk. I basically stuffed her into this storage box. It looked pretty bad. I wrapped her in a bed sheet and stuffed them in this box too. The next day, I tried to dismember her body and stuff it into some containers, but without success. It was quite disgusting, and disgusting just thinking about it now makes me want to throw up. At that time, I had no idea how critical my condition was. I had to get the kids somewhere safe, so I continued packing while texting Justin Marta, because he was the one who drugged my kids and did all that. I spent a week cleaning the house. I went into the laundry room. It was connected to the garage. That's where I killed him. Right before he did, he tried to make a deal with me. He had a picture on his phone of Matthew standing naked in my living room. I don't even remember what that bastard's real name is. The kid I killed, Matthew whatever his name, was with his penis on my son's shoulder. I said, "Who sent you that picture?" He said, "I took it." I said, "Why did you take it?" He just admitted he did so. That's it. That's it. He was right above that vent. He wanted to know if he could trade that photo for a bunch of heroin. I said, "You can try looking for it in the vent." And he actually looked into that hole. He didn't know about it. And I took him in the back of the head. That's not something I'm very proud of. As for the division, that was a day or two later. It actually made me sick. It was so disgusting. It took all my courage to move the bodies. There was so much blood. That's why I had to clean the entire floor all the way up to that room. In that room, the floor was blown up in the children's bedroom. The damn landlord didn't bother fixing the leak. The flat was moldy. It wasn't safe. It took me 2 hours to work up the courage to approach Cheston. So when you got Cheston there, did you do it right away? Or did you say it took a while? And after you killed Jennifer, how long did it take you to kill Cheston? About a week. It took a while. Did you ask him to come there? I pretended to be Jennifer when I called him. Got it. So he thought he was coming to see Jennifer, right? That's right. That kid's finally here. William, or Matthew, whatever his name is, he's with his girlfriend, Felicity. She looks like she's about 12. And they're not allowed to bring people in here who don't belong here. So I said, yeah. It said, we need money for something. I said again, I can give you a food card. It was around 40. Yeah, that's it. And one of those times he mentioned it again. This time, there was no Felicity or anything. And that's when I shot him in the back of the head. That's how Sean confessed to killing the first 3 victims. As for Randy, the man found in the trunk, Sean said that Randy initially only wanted $150 to help him stow the boxes in the red pickup truck, but when they met, Randy suddenly doubled the price to $300. An argument broke out, and Sean pulled out a gun. The last person on my list at that time, the man who molested me when I was a kid in the organization, my big brother, big sister or something. There are a lot of perverts in there. I just want the pictures back. He wouldn't give them to me, so I started hitting him. Then he had to give them to me. And I took care of him. I'm not proud of anything. I had every intention of going back and taking care of Danny Lamers. The final victim in Sean's murder spree was Michael Dukowski, who had bit his minor as a child. Sean claimed that Dukowski had harassed him and still had the photos. When Dukowski refused to hand over the photos, Sean killed him without hesitation. It seemed like all the truth had been revealed, but Sean coldly said something that made the police shiver. This is far from over. There are still many bodies waiting to be found. He said the other 11 started about 2 or 3 years ago. 3 years ago? Yes. What weapon did you use to take their lives? A knife? Knives and everything. Sometimes I use something like a pickaxe. A sharp tool very similar to a pickaxe. Like, if you want to think back on those things, like how many of the 11 people were, how many people were, if you could tell me. 2 people were 2? How many people were the rest were? So there were 9 people? In his confession, Sean said that in addition to his known victims, he had also attacked at least 11 others. Most were drug dealers linked to Jennifer, and hid their bodies in a remote area of Marple National Park. However, the police conducted an extensive search without finding any more bodies, leaving Sean's testimony unverified to this day. The police also questioned Danny Lemus, whom Sean had tried to frame. Danny denies involvement in the murder charges, admitting only to taking Sean's gun from Kelly's house, and saying he did not know it had been used in the crime. With no clear evidence of guilt, Danny was released. In October 2022, Sean formally pleaded guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder. Under his plea agreement, he could only apply for parole after serving at least 110 years in prison. And to help you better understand this case, I would like to briefly summarize it through the following timeline. In October 2020, a Grants landlord discovered the body of an abused puppy in his vacant rental home. At the same time, the police investigate the disappearance of a young man named Matthew Miller. Investigation expands. Matthew's pickup truck was found abandoned near Justin, Marta, and Leonie's home. Leonie claimed that Justin and Jennifer Lennon were ex-wives of Sean Lennon, who had moved to Arizona. Additionally, the camera recorded Matthew entering Sean's house. Sean then drove Matthew's car away and returned alone. Clues surface. Matthew's friend Josie Hall reports that Sean once hid a bag containing Jennifer's gun and papers at Kelly's house. Sean was suspected of being involved in the case, but the old house was renovated, erasing all traces. Big turning point. At Albuquerque Airport, an abandoned red pickup truck was found. Inside the car were the bodies of Jennifer, Matthew, Jetstan, the body of Randy Apostolon, the owner of the car, and the tools of the crime. Security camera footage shows that Sean was the one who drove the car here and then left it. Sean Lennon's confessions. Sean Lennon confessed that he attacked Jennifer after a drug overdose. He also killed Jetstan because he suspected him of having sensitive clips. Next, Matthew was fired for his involvement in the clip, and lastly, Randy was fired for arguing about money. Sean also confessed to killing at least 11 other people, hiding their bodies in Marple Country Park. Finally, another victim was Michael Dukowski, who sexually molested Sean when he was a child. Sean Lennon was eventually sentenced to 110 years in prison, enough to ensure that he would spend the rest of his life behind bars. But is all that years in prison really enough to pay for the terrible crimes that Sean Lennon committed? By simply reaching a plea deal, a man who killed at least 5 people, whose bodies and possibly many more victims have yet to be discovered, could escape the death penalty. In the police records, the 5 names Jennifer, Matthew, Justin, Randy, and Michael still exist like ghosts that have not been released. The bloody secrets are still shrouded in mystery and have never been fully exposed. Hello, and see you in the next videos.